basically like look at me as their home's health consultant. It doesn't matter if it's 2 days after they own it, 6 years. They can always call me, ask a question. I'm here for them. I know a lot about houses, and if they got an answer, I'll probably answer it for them.
You know what your main priority is, and you don't care whether that like stops you from getting certain deals or whatever. Like, it basically just positions you to work with the right people. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the AbadAss Life Podcast. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Andrew Abad. I'm your host. This channel is all about bringing you people who are expert or are becoming experts in their field to give you tips, tricks, and hacks that you need to start crafting your own badass life, whatever that looks like for you. Today, we have a great episode because we had a great guy with us. He is not only a successful entrepreneur, but he's also a family man and a great guy overall. Andrew Spicy Spitzer, thanks for coming in today, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So before we go into, your background and all the good stuff and about your story, I do have to ask, where did the Spicy nickname came from?
So the Spicy nickname came actually from Sarah when I joined BNI. She spelled my last name wrong. She spelled it Spicy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I just rolled with it, and just became my persona, because I am. I'm a little bit, zesty. Some people, obviously in the business, when I'm talking to clients, I'm a little more professional, but around others, I like to have a good time and joke around.
Yeah, that's one of the main things that, when I joined and, became part of the group, I saw, you have a great personality, very outgoing, like love to have fun and all that good stuff. But I didn't know that it was actually given to you or started in the group. I thought it was more of like a, lifelong thing.
Yeah, no, that's where that one started.
Because it's like very suitable, I think, for like your personality.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's where you started like the whole persona and thing, especially within the group.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself and just for, the audience to get to know you a little bit better. Like, where are you from? What's your background? All that good stuff.
So I'm a true born and bred Florida boy. I was born down in Hollywood, Florida. My family actually owned the Biscayne Dog Kennel, the dog racing track down there.
Oh, nice.
And then when that came to an end, they realized that they should probably move back to Ocala because knowing me, the trouble I got in here, they thought it was going to be 20x down there. So they thought it'd be a better place to come up here and raise me in Ocala. And so that's what they did. And boy, did I still get in my fair share of trouble. Oh, yeah. But it came with 8th grade. My dad told me, son, you're not sitting around the house all summer. So either come work for me or go learn to do roofing. And so I was like, all right, I'll come work for you. And that's how I started out doing testing receptacles. That was it. And pulling in tools, and then as time went on, so like anytime I wasn't in school, I was working, and I had to learn how to do, navigate just being like a, professional, present myself. Like, I remember one time I had spilt mustard on my pants, and I wore the same pants the next day to work, and my dad was not happy about it. He's like, what are you doing? You look like a bum, and just every year, or, every so often, he gave me more responsibilities. And, I've learned a lot of lessons of things not to do. Like, make sure you read the packaging on dish soap, or if it's dishwasher soap. Because if you put just regular dish soap into a dishwashing machine, it turns the whole kitchen into a foam party. And I did that in the middle of an inspection one time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, had to clean that. I was testing a spa tub one time in a bathroom. I don't know, probably went over somewhere, got called, and forgot it was running, and flooded a bathroom,
Those are those funny stories that you'll remember, right? Yeah. I almost burned down a pool hall once trying to make ramen noodles soup. I forgot to put the water in I was like 17, 18. I was very good friends with the pool hall manager, which it was probably his mistake to leave me in the pool hall by myself and go on and do his thing. And I was all the way in the back. left that in there, and then next thing I know, I hear like the fire department and stuff, like all the smoke.
Oh, yeah.
And I almost burned it down trying to. Yeah, that's where I think all the fun that my friends make about me is like not knowing how to cook or being able to cook. Because me and the kitchen do not mix. So every time somebody asks, I like bring up the story. It's like, oh yeah, I almost burned down a pool hole. Like doing ramen, so yeah, I wouldn't mix.
Done that. I forgot to check the oven. Make sure people like to store stuff in their oven. Mm-hmm. Didn't check it when I turned it on to test it, and they had a bunch of rubber lids, and they all melted. So I had to do that was a whole ordeal. But I mean, life lessons, you learn them. I won't forget those. I won't ever forget to check an oven. I will make sure. After the dishwasher thing, my dad took me to Publix and made me walk down the whole aisle and read every different type, which one, and tell them if it was okay to use or not. But and then as the years went on, he just gave me more responsibility, teaching me to answer phone calls, doing everything. And then the most dreaded ones of them all was the final test, was to do a crawl space. And I'll never forget it because I don't like spiders. And I was crawling under this, it was a mobile home, and I remember my dad was in the kitchen with the client going over his part that he did. And I saw this big old huntsman spider, and it was right there above me looking at me. And I tried to stand up and run. And I happened to be under the kitchen, and so they both heard me just bang my head on the bottom of the mobile home because I was trying to run from a spider.
That's funny.
But I mean, like, all those little things... and I've learned you have to fail in order to succeed. It's the best teacher, I guess you can say.
Yeah, going through the motions and going through, all the things that you are not supposed to do first. Those are the best lessons. How you learn. It's very hard, in my opinion, to learn from other people's mistakes. Once you get to that point where you're actually learning from just seeing what you're not supposed to do, you're a little bit wiser. Because I guess, that's part of like the finish of wisdom, right? It's to be able to learn without having to go through the pain yourself. But I think like when we are younger, it is almost like a must. Like we have to go through like all those lessons, those mistakes, all that good stuff. So you've been doing home inspections for a while now, basically since you were a kid.
Yeah.
What are some of like some of the biggest takeaways, I would say, or some of the things that have stood out to you is like, okay, in doing this is how like I've been able to maintain a good reputation or just set myself up differently than the others, because you have a magnificent reputation here locally. Everybody knows you. A lot of people say, everybody that I've met that also know you have nothing but great things to say about you, and say how like you go above and beyond for everybody that you do work for, right? And so like, what are those extra things that you think that set you apart?
So again, I mean, a lot goes back. I mean, I pay a lot of homage to my father, the way he did it. I mean, the first thing that he always taught me is look at every house like if my sister were to move into it. I mean, now that I have kids, I look at every house like if my daughter were to move into it. The client, they're my main priority. I don't care, if said realtor is mad because I found something because it's going to kill a deal. I didn't kill a deal, the house did, but I think the best thing that really has helped me was being able to portray bad news in a good way, if that makes sense. Like yes, something is broken, leaking, or not good, but I mean, everything is perspective to people. Like I don't know what their situation is. They might be able to get a credit, or they have the money and it doesn't matter. So, nothing is too big. I mean, there's very few things that I'll make like a big issue about. Like if somebody has a gas water heater inside the house and the flue pipe is off, like that's just blowing deadly toxin gas. Like but most of the time it's portraying bad news in a good way and not making a big deal out of everything. Because, I mean, literally, if you think about it, anything can be fixed. Just depends on what you want to spend.
Yeah, what you're willing to, how much do people like their house, and, like, what is it worth to them?
I think there was there was like one time I think I ever told a client, like I stopped at mid-inspection. I was with my dad. And we said, like, you don't want to buy this house. Because that's a big no-no. Like, realtors don't like that. But this lady, first-time home buyer, single mom, and she was, or soon to be an expectant single mother, you know, and this house was literally cracked in half. Like, there was no pins. They never fixed it. The people just took the insurance money and ran. And, like, it was going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix it. And I told her, I was like, stop it right here. You don't owe me nothing. Like, let's find you a better house. You know, like, I care about the client, the person buying the house, you know. And I just let the house talk to me. You know, I never shy away from anything. You know, I tell them what the house says to me. And, you know, and I tell them basically, like, look at me as their home's health consultant. It doesn't matter if it's 2 days after they own it, 6 years. They can always call me, ask a question. I'm here for them. You know, I know a lot about houses, and if they got an answer, I could probably answer it for them.
See, I think that's like really important because like by doing that, you're not necessarily like, you know what your main priority is, and you don't care whether that like stops you from getting certain deals or whatever. Like it basically just positions you to work with the right people, right? Because like the right realtors, the people that have like a moral compass where they're just not trying to push something and make the sale, are going to appreciate that. And so just by having that strong moral compass of like, hey, like my main priority, my main job here is to have like the best interest of the client at heart, is already like helping you to just work with the right people and have like the right, you know, referral partners or like the right people that you work with that know already what it's, you know, what's your MO and what's like what you're going to go do once they hire you. Yeah. Right. So that's super important. Like right before we started this, we were gonna go into like what's some of like the craziest stories that you have, you know, because I mean when people hear about like home inspections and stuff, they probably don't think like all the crazy stuff that you probably see on a daily basis or monthly basis or whatever. So I'm personally kind of curious to hear like what's like the craziest thing that you've ever ran into while doing one of those home inspections.
So the wildest thing. We had a 9 o'clock inspection scheduled. This was still when I was working with my dad before he retired. 9 o'clock inspection scheduled. My dad was always adamant, you know, 15 minutes early is on time, you know, on time's late, 15 minutes, you know, that whole ordeal. So we were there like 15 minutes early. We were sitting in the truck just waiting. And my dad was like, you know what, let's go knock on the door, see if we can get started early. So we're like, all right, so we go knock on the door. This lady opens the door in a robe, but not tied, so it's open. And we're like, whoa, excuse me, ma'am. She's like, no, I was expecting you to come on in. Like, we look at each other, okay, all right, what's going on here, you know? And, you know, as it, you know, this inspection progressed, I was going into the rooms, started to realize, I'm like, I think we're inspecting a live house. You know, like a live cam girl house. Because in one room, you know, there's all this editing equipment, and there's some hardcore porn on the TV playing. Next room is, I think it was some sort of other hardcore porn. And in the other room, it's her own videos, you know, that are like playing on the TV being edited. And then I go to open the dishwasher. There's not dishes in it. It's full of sex toys.
Oh, God.
Yeah. In the bathrooms, I mean, I have a picture of it. We had a guy training with us at one time, during that time. I have a picture of him, and he's like checking underneath the sink, but all on top of the, you know, the vanity. There's just a bunch of sex toys sitting there. And she had no care in the world. And like the realtor showed up, the buyers showed up, and like all this is just going on in this house. And I'm like, this is the wildest thing I've ever experienced, you know?
That's like, gotta be an awkward showing and like.
Yeah, it was weird. I think there's another time down in the Duck Pond area in Gainesville, which is like the historic area, crawling under a house, crawled up on a bum sleeping.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, woke him up, and I was just like, hey, buddy, you know, just passing by. You know,
Excuse me.
Stayed there, just kept going by. Did another one in that area. I was by myself. I'm pretty sure the house was haunted. Like, I'm almost positive. I would be in one room and, across the house, and you hear doors slamming and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
And you were positive there's no one else
There
in
was
the
no
house.
one else. There was no windows open. No one else in this house. And like doors would slam or open. And I mean, I know older houses. Every house moves like we do, so it expands and contracts a little bit. And those older doors don't shut perfect. It's kind of what I try to justify to myself to make myself feel better. But I was trying to hurry up and get out of that house as fast as possible.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm one of those people that I don't mess around with anything like in that sense. Like, I much rather walk into the house and see like 10 guys that are ready to like mug me or rob me or whatever, and me have to like fight my way out of that than deal with like any kind of like ghosts or anything like that. If
I get it. It creeps me
thing.
out. It's scary. It creeps me out. I don't watch horror movies. I'm not that type of guy.
Yeah, no. Let's not even go down that rabbit hole, because we'll just shut down this podcast and like go somewhere else. Pedro keeps swearing that there's something that keeps opening the door in here, and I'm like, that it's just like the pressure, like like the pressure of the building of whatever, the pressure, not pressure, but yeah. So, what are some of the things that you would suggest, or that that are good tips for maybe like a young person that is ready to start in this industry, maybe someone that has worked for a company and is ready to start their own business doing home inspections? Like, what are those things that you think can save them a lot of time and trial and error type thing?
I mean, so I kind of did it, I mean, because I was working for my dad, but I was kind of forced to do it. And he said he was going to work a little longer than he actually did, so then I kind of was really forced to do it. I mean, one, be confident in your craft. I mean, just because you have a license, you went and got your license and you did 120 hours now and go take the state exam, doesn't mean you're ready to, inspect. I would highly recommend anybody trying to find, another inspector that, that's been doing it for a while, and see if they'd be willing to like mentor them, let them ride along, show them things. Because I mean, still to this day, I mean, I've been doing it forever. I still don't claim to know everything. There's sometimes I come up on something and I have to figure it out, and, I'll reach out to some of the, the older guys that I've, just known through the years of doing it, and, get a collective opinion. I'll tell the client, I don't know yet, but I'll find you an answer, So don't ever, if they do come, if they get into it and they start going, inspecting, and they come along something and they don't know what it is, don't pretend you know it, I mean, you can kind of, but don't just say like, yeah, I got this, there's no problem or something like that. And you'd be like, like, I don't know, I haven't seen it. Just be honest. I mean, we have to look at, it's not like an electrician. They only do electrical, or roofer. They only do roofing, like that. Like, we have to learn every different aspect of the house, So there's like 1,000 different things you're looking at, and not every house is the same.
Yeah. No, and I think that's some like good general advice, because, in general, not just for this industry, but for anything that you do, is a good practice always to find someone that has done what you're trying to do and try to learn from that person, right? Find the right coach, the right mentor, someone who's going to save you all that trial and error. And like you said, I mean, there's so much that goes into it. You kind of have to know about all the traits. So I think like you do, having like a good network of people in each one of those traits that are going to help you whenever you run into something that you're not 100% of, and just being humble enough to know that like, hey, like saying like, I don't know what's going on here is not like a sign of weakness or that you're not good enough. It's just simply a good demonstration that you're willing to, do whatever it takes to figure it out, as opposed to like, acting like you know it all and then potentially cause an issue for the clients. Right?
Yeah, which then ends up coming back on you.
Yeah, correct. So it's just like being humble enough to know that like, you don't know it all, being able to reach out and build like a good network of people, you know, whether it's like HVAC, electricians, roofers, you know, because like you said, they are specialized into each one of these categories. I think it'd be like super, super helpful. And that's the one thing that we can like, if anything, we'll segue into is like, you know, the relationships that we build through business and in general, right? Like that's one of like my core four pillars as to how I evaluate my life, right? And it's relationships. And it's relationships with your relationship with God, with your family, with your kids, with your friends, with your colleagues, and all your peers. Like, I'm assuming for you, like things have been, I don't want to say a lot easier, but have become easier once you've developed these relationships with, you know, the people that are able to help you fulfill.
Oh yeah,
You know.
yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely. I mean, building relationships. I mean, that's one of like the main things as a home inspector. Besides looking at houses, you got to build relationships because my main referral source is realtors. I mean, yes, people call, but I mean, you got realtors that are out there every day, so you build relationships with them. And one things my dad taught me was every person that you meet, try to remember one special thing about them. So then, like, next time you see them, you bring it up or mention if they had a baby or a birthday, just things like that. One little thing. And it makes them feel good that, like, hey, they took the time to remember that, about me. So that was like the first thing I, did. And I'm an extrovert as it is. I like talking. And so, I mean, but being okay with reaching out to others in professionals in different industries, building relationships with them, so that you're comfortable enough that, like, if you do come across some, I mean, with today's technology, I just send them a picture and I'll have an answer in 2 minutes. If they're not busy.
Yeah.
So that has been a great help for me because I actually sent one to Dustin over at Alpha Heating and Air yesterday. It was something I'd never seen. I've done 15,000 inspections, and he told me what it was and explained it, and I was like, perfect,
Boom, get it done. Yeah, absolutely. What are the biggest challenges that you've overcome in business and maybe in personal, maybe some of the personal that has affected your business? Because one of the main things that we were discussing before we jumped in here was that, like we all go through different struggles. And like one of the main reasons of this podcast, right, is to show people that are wanting to pursue certain things that it doesn't matter like all the things that you've gone through. It doesn't matter like how hard you've like fallen in your face. Like all that matters is that you use it as fuel to continue building the life that you want for yourself, for your family if they're married, or just for themselves if they're still single. And yeah, that can translate into overcoming all the obstacles in your personal life, in your business. What are some of those things that just jump out at you?
I mean, the bigger ones, the bigger, tougher ones. I mean, the first one was I got an ATV accident, 2016. Me and a buddy, we were just driving down in a horse field, just going straight, going about 60 miles an hour, and the front axle snapped. He got ejected. He broke his leg, but I got stuck inside like a little bingo ball, bouncing around because of course, I wasn't wearing the 4-point harness or a helmet, because you think you're invincible. Next thing I remember is I came to, and I remember somebody holding me up against a fence post, and I just remember being blood everywhere. And then I woke up in a hospital, and so I split my head from front to back, broke all the bones right side of my face. I forgot who people were, how to use like microwaves, and then from the traumatic brain injury, at night, I would become a different person. I would become this mean, angry, jealous type person. And that was tough at first because in my mind, I'm not crazy. Everybody's saying you need to go talk to somebody, you need to go see a psychologist, anything, go talk to anybody. And I didn't believe it because I would basically black out when I was that other person. So I wouldn't know what I did. But I mean, my wife, she's a trooper, godsend. I don't know why she didn't leave me then, but she didn't, so thank God. But I mean, I guess I tried to bash her window in with my already damaged face and head in her car because she was just trying to get away. And then, I mean, I was on the couch for like a year and a half, laid up, like couldn't do nothing. And then finally started reintroducing myself into working, or at least getting out of the house and working. So my dad would take me, and if my wife didn't answer my text in like 2 seconds, I was like tracking her on her GPS. She's, and then I would wait till I got to my truck, and I'd go like drive up to wherever it said she was, and make a scene, be like, why aren't she answering? And I've never been like that. We have a great relationship, never been jealous ever in my entire life. And so that was the point that I realized, okay,
something's wrong.
Something's wrong. I need help. And I think it might have been my wife's mom. She gave us a suggestion to go see somebody, just to talk, and it happened to be at church. And I grew up in private school, Catholic school, so I've had like all that jammed down my throat. And we're in college. There was the car accident on Jumble Air, the 5 kids that passed away on the car there. One of them was my best friend. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
And at that time, I was like, why him? He was such a good kid. And so then I lost my faith. I strayed away from it. And had never really went back, until this day that I go talk to this guy, and the whole time I'm complaining. Like, this guy's just going to jam, any religion down my throat, blah, blah, blah. Like, I didn't want to be there. But I knew if I didn't, I was going to lose my wife because she was at her breaking point, I could tell. And we went and talked to this guy, and we talked, just everything. And at the end of it, we probably talked for 2 hours, I think. And at the end, he was like, just do one thing for me. He's like, both of y'all close your eyes. And we did it. And he's like, now envision taking all that grief, all that weight, because I felt bad because my wife couldn't work. She felt bad because she had to babysit a 27-year-old and couldn't be at work. So, we both had a bunch of grief and whatever, baggage, I guess. And so he said, close your eyes, sit there, and physically, think you're taking all that baggage and laying it at the foot of the cross. So for once in my life, I took it serious. In school, I went through the motions,
Yeah.
So for once in my life, I did it. And the next day, I went to work with my dad, and he looked at me and he said, hey, something different about you. What'd you do? And, it still gets me now, but I mean, I actually, for once, gave my life up to, a higher power and God. And my wife went to work the next day, and she has this nervous tick when she's really stressed. Her right eye will water uncontrollably. And so it had been watering for like 2 months. And that next day it stopped. And her boss asked her, hey, what happened? Did you do something? You look different. You look better. And it was just because for once we both actually did it and put everything in God's hands. And that was a tough one. And then the most recent one is, as of today, I'm 76 days clean from pills.
Congrats, man. That's a huge deal. Not only the fact that, you're the 76 days, but, just the fact that you're willing to share that, you're open and honest about that stuff, because more people need to hear that. There's all these, what's the word? There's all this shame around
stigma.
It, and then there's this stigma that, when you either A, have done something wrong or have deviated from the path that you were supposed to be on, and all the stuff that you kind of have to keep it to yourself, or most people feel not inclined to share that, right? And I think nobody benefits from the secrets or from, keeping that to yourself, and, having these conversations and just help so many people that could potentially be dealing with the same thing. So I truthfully appreciate you, sharing every part of the story. If you're an expert on any field or a successful entrepreneur who wants to be featured in our podcast,
I loved it.
Make sure you click the link below, fill out the application, tell us a little bit about yourself. If we're a good fit, somebody from our team will reach out to you.
What's up? What's up? Hey,
and you need to get ready to start inspiring our audience and become a part of the AbadAss Life Podcast. I'll see you soon.
It was really hard. I mean, I think the first person, my wife knew the whole time. She knew something wasn't right. But, what's she going to do? An addict's not ready to quit until they're ready,
Yeah.
And she knows that, but she's dealt with, family members that have had, past addiction problems and stuff. But, I think the first person I told was my dad. And I think it was weird how it worked out because me and my dad haven't had the best relationship in the last couple of years. I haven't been around him as much. We go from being best friends, working every day, talking every day, to maybe once a month. And, I thought I was doing a good job, keeping everything together. Well, lo and behold, I guess he knew, and he just didn't want to be around me because he didn't know what to do. And so, the day I decided to quit, I don't know why I knew it had to happen, because for a while it was been, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. But at that point, when you're robbing Peter to pay Paul and you're maxing out everything and, not paying bills that you should be, and I make good money, doing what I do, but this year was weird. I'd be busy 1 week and then there'd be nothing for the next 3 for the rest of the month, or, and the sizable habit that I'd gotten to, because it all started from that ATV wreck. I was getting prescribed it, and then the doctors stopped giving it to me, and I experienced my first time getting, having opiate withdrawals, and it was not cool. And I knew I had a kid on the way, or just had a kid, and I had a business to run. And so I went to the streets to get them, just to maintain so I could function. And, and it was never never meant to become what it became. It just grew in more, and just as you grow a tolerance, you do more and more. And towards the end, I was spending $300-400 a day.
Oh, wow.
And I calculated, I did some math. I spent $500,000 in 3 years that I stole from my wife and kids, taking them on, to go do, ski trip or vacation or whatever, anything, just to create more core memories with them, or do something. But I did it all myself, and I knew it was coming, and so I think that had to be it. And then I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, because, when I wasn't working, I was worrying about how I'm going to get to my dealer, worrying about that, not being at home, spending time with my kids. I'm out, trying to find that, and that started weighing on me, because, my family's everything to me. So I decided to quit, and I wasn't gonna go on Suboxone or do any of those other things. I was gonna white knuckle it.
Just cold turkey.
Cold turkey. My wife helped me out a lot. She did some research, with different ways. Bunch of vitamins, like vitamin C, like a lot, and just all these different vitamins and peptides, like NAD, which made, I still didn't feel good, but I wasn't on the floor of my shower,
Right.
going out both ends, wanting to die, So, and I still had to work. And I think 4 days in, I got up out of the bed and got real lightheaded. I guess I'd been having lightheaded spells, just I figured it was part of the withdrawals. But that one, I guess, it never stopped, and I ended up blacking out and fainting in the hallway, and decided to use my orbital bone, or my body did, to break my 180-pound free fall. And so I knocked myself out. I was out cold, don't know how long, but I don't know if you've been knocked out, how your senses slowly come back. So at first I'm like, why does my face hurt so bad? Why does it hurt? Why does it hurt? And then your vision starts coming back a little bit. And then my hearing, and then I hear my son, Dad, are you dead? Dad, are you dead? Dad, are you dead? Are you okay? And I finally look up, or I mean, because I'm laying on the floor, and there's just a giant puddle of blood around me. And so, like, finally my wife, came to where I was, and she was helping me, and I'm like, hey, where am I bleeding from? She's like, it looks like your eye. I'm like, all right, that's good at least. It's just, eyes bleed. You're like, we'll butterfly that. I don't need to go to the hospital, none of that. But, like, I feel bad. Like, has anybody ever heard their 7-year-old son sit there and ask you, hey, Dad, are you dead?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, that got me. And then when you're coming off of that stuff and all that stuff out of you, I mean, your mental, you yo-yo so bad. You'll be up, down. So one day I'll be good, and the next day I can't get out of bed. I don't want to do anything. I mean, there was one point I sat in my truck, and I contemplated putting a pistol in my mouth and blowing my brains out because I figured my family would be better off with my life insurance money.
I've had this same conversation with, or at least very similar with a couple of people. And it seems like, like you said, like we're ready when we're ready type thing, right? And like most of us have to reach like a certain breaking point to
Your true bottom.
Yeah, to turn it around. But that's the important thing is that, in my opinions, like the easiest path of like, is to just go ahead and say like, I've done all this stuff, like I've messed up so bad. There's no point in turning back, like in acting as a victim, right? And the hardest thing to do is to come back and say like, okay, all this in the past. We're just gonna move forward. Just gonna do what I'm supposed to do for myself, for my family. You have a beautiful family. Seems like you have like a great support system. Your wife, like you said, is a trooper, and props to her. But yeah, I mean, it's everything that most of us have is worth fighting for. Like we have, like you can find the beauty in almost any situation, and using all the struggles, using all the challenges, all the constraints, all the things that you have to go through as fuel to say like, okay, this didn't break me. Like what else is there? Like almost like inviting anything else that's supposed to come your way just for you to have a chance to overcome that.
What don't break you make you stronger. Or pain is pain is weakness leaving the body.
Yep.
My favorite thing that I think about is, the man above. He has a reason for everything. You may not know what happened right then or there, or why you're going through what you're going through. But down the road, you'll look back and be like, well, I'll be damned. That's why that happened, or that's why this needed to happen. Like everything happens for a reason in my eyes. Like ups or down, everyone has struggles. Everyone is going through something. There's nobody that lives that perfect life. That's social media, Instagram. They have a perfect life, but behind closed doors, everybody's going through something, and you're not alone. And especially with addiction, because like you said, there's a stigma. People feel, like embarrassed. Like I was embarrassed to tell, to say it. And then I finally told my dad, and it made him so proud and happy for me. And so then I just told my closest friends, which one of them knew in the beginning, Chris Stanley. He would pick me up every morning and take me to the gym, through all the withdrawals. Got me in the gym at 5:30, put me in the sauna, make me work out. That helped a lot. But I mean, having a good group of friends. I mean, everybody has friends, but I'm talking about like the brothers, the ride or die. You call, they're there. It doesn't matter if it inconveniences them. You've got to. I mean, even if it's one. I mean, you've got to have that and just be honest with people. I mean, like I came out to 50, or not the whole group, so say 30 business professionals that I work with all the time, and told them, whatever, it was like 45 days or something, told them that I was a drug addict. Well, I was. I guess I don't know. I don't know. They always say once an addict, always an addict. I don't believe that. I think I can get past, I don't want to be labeled as that. I stumbled and I got through it, but I was embarrassed at first to tell them, because I didn't want them to look down on me or think anything different of me. But I had it was an amazing response back. Like everybody after, like, were texting me, I'm so proud of you. Like, good job, keep it up. Like, you know, everybody has, you know, shadows or skeletons in their closets. Only the ones that are, you know, brave will shine light on them and make it come out. And I was like, all right, you know, like, I made a mistake. It is what it is. And, you know, I'm moving forward. I got other things to do. I'm not going to sit here and waller in my self-pity and pain. Like, it's just part of my story. It makes me who I am. All my falls have made me who I am. Life is full of peaks and valleys.
Yes, that is true, man. And honestly, you know, like not having the shame around the topic, around the subject is like, in my opinion, one true indication that, you know, you've made like so much progress. Because and I've had my fair share of like, you know, therapy and all kinds of things that, you know, some of the things that I battle with. And one of the things, like, once you are able to overcome that shame, like shame and guilt are two different things, right? And so like having some guilt or some mistakes or things that have gone wrong and stuff, it's important, because if you don't feel anything, that would make you a psychopath,
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
but the shame part of it is like, it's completely useless for everybody. It's useless for you. It's useless for. It's only going to stop you from creating those connections on the bond that you probably not have with your dad, by him knowing that you came clean, that you told him all these different things, right? And so the guilt part of it is good, because it motivates us to say like, oh, I messed up here. I feel guilty about it, so I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to go and change my ways. I'm going to go and stop whatever it is that you're doing. But yeah, I mean, like, I think most people recognize that and realize that, you know, once you're ready to open up and be vulnerable about it and just come and discuss that, like, most people see that as a true indication, like, you know, he's doing things right. So that's, in my opinion, one of the reasons why there's like such a good response, right? And like I said, everybody that I've talked to, and this is like multiple people, have nothing but the best things to say about you. And that's like the proof that, you know, it doesn't matter how, like, not just you, but like anyone else out there, it doesn't matter how far gone you think you could be, there's always a way to bounce back. There's always a way to you know, come back from whatever it is that's stopping you, whatever it is that you're going through, to reach the goals that you have, or to, you know, start the business, to start the family. Because yeah, at the end of the day, you know, we all have like so many things to be thankful for, and like so many blessings, despite like, you know, all the perceived bad things that we're going through.
Yeah.
That it's just, we just focus on that. Like, it makes things so much better.
Yeah, just take it one day at a time now, and try to be the best version of myself, so I can be there for my kids, my wife, my clients, you know, my friends, all my business partners. You know, I want to be able to give them the best edition of myself, and I think now I'm sharper than I've ever been. And, you know, iron sharpens iron, right? You know, you kind of got to go through some stuff in order to become a better version of yourself. You know, if life was all easy street on, you know, Candyland, I mean, we'd probably all just be fat and rotted teeth from all the sugar and just sitting around. You know, you got to have that. Something's got to give you that fire.
Yeah.
Give you that drive.
Absolutely, man. I think you're doing a great job. And, you know, like, overall, like, it's just, this is such a good story, and such, you know, hopefully it helps so many people out there, you know, that are potentially going through the same thing even now, you know, like, that's like my main goal whenever I ask somebody to come up here and, you know, discuss or talk to me in this podcast, is just for people to see, like, it doesn't matter. Like, nothing really matters except you desire to do whatever it is that you're fashioned to do, right? Like, to fulfill your purpose, and nothing else counts. Nothing else matters. And this is like the true example of that, man. So thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for coming in here and spending some time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Like, yeah, if you want to do it, you got to put your time and effort and do it. You know, nothing's gonna come easy.
Yeah,
You
that
got to
is
take
true.
it.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this before we hop off. If there are any people out there, any realtors or any homeowners that can potentially need some of your services, need a home inspection before they sell their house, when they're purchasing a house, all that good stuff, how can they reach out to you?
They can reach me at my cell phone, which is always attached to my hip, at 352-572-4156. Or you can email me at ksquaredinspections with an S, fl@gmail.com. Or you can find my Google or my Facebook, which is K-Squared Inspections.
Awesome. And before we end the podcast, normally I like to ask all my guests if they have any favorite quote and why.
As of late, right now, mine has been Isaiah 6:8. It's basically God asking somebody to go into the fire, battle, and it basically says, "Send me, send I am. I've been through it. Send me. I'll go through this for you to help others."
Is there like any particular reason why that is your favorite?
Just because now I like you said, as I've become open with my drug addiction, I want to help others. I mean, like, help can be done, and there's ways to do it, and you don't have to do what feel shameful about it. Like, it's you made a mistake. Let's bounce back from it. Let's work on it, and let's get back to work, and strive for a better life.
That is awesome, man. Thanks a lot for sharing all that. I really appreciate, again, you coming on. And thank you to all of you guys who are tuning in. I hope you guys were just as inspired as I was. And I'll see you guys next time. Until then, continue building your own badass life.